The New York Rangers are the first team to be eliminated in the play-in rounds of the NHL. The Carolina Hurricanes outplayed them for all 3 games, and for pretty much most of those periods in all 3 games as well. And they were pretty well outclassed, but let's run through their entire season, shall we? So, overall, how did the year start? Well, with a lot of moves at the start, Jeff Gordon, the GM, really got the trades going. Kind of helps when you move up in the draft to 2nd overall and get to pick Kako, but, you know, that's fine. So first move was to trade for Trouba and sign him to a 7-year extension. So was able to get him out of the Jets, where he hadn't been happy for a while. He'd been through multiple arbitrations, and it just seemed like the blood had soured there. Shortly after that, he signed Panarin from free agency, so already just bolstering 2 really big pieces to any roster, and just really leading the way for what can come in a few years' time. He also extended Brendan Lemieux to a 1-year deal, and Tony DeAngelo got a 1-year deal as well. You might regret that 1-year deal on DeAngelo, but hey, we'll see how that goes. Shattenkirk was bought out. He was midway through his contract, and what's to say there, right? And Adam Fox comes up and makes his debut opening night, outshadowed by Kaku a little bit, but really, really good seasons. So that was the start. That was just the summer. That was literally just the summer, what they've been able to add through since then. So, Since then, the defensive core has been unbelievable in this team, and they were able to then trade away Brady Shea. And I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Brady Shea. They were able to trade Shea away because Adam Fox, DeAngelo were doing so well. Adam Fox a little bit unlucky to probably not be getting in the Calder sort of conversation. I think he was one of the best defenders in all 3 ends. Yeah, Quinn Hughes probably a little bit better than him, seeing that he has a few more points. DeAngelo had 56 points this season as a defender. So, unbelievable. I actually didn't realize he had so many points. And I was talking to a Ranger friend, and he's like, yeah, this is what I've been talking about all season. That he's been doing really well. A few defensive lapses, but, he's a young offensive defenseman. That's going to happen, right? So the future is super bright on D. They've also got, some picks in the bag. They've got 2 first rounds this year. Got a couple of thirds and, a few other pieces as well. As long as a very good farm system to come up and bolster this roster for many years to come. Some of the improvement players as well. Fast was able to improve his offense. Zibanejad was 4th overall in goals for the entire season. Panarin had an MVP year. So, they were able to do some massive things. Shushkin, was a big part of this franchise and is probably their goalie of the future if he can stay healthy. I think a few people looked a bit sideways when Lundqvist got the start in the play-in rounds, but we'll get to that. Let's get into some milestones. Lundqvist recorded his 450th career win this year. And then since he's moved up into the 5th place of the all-time win list, beating out Joseph with 455 wins. And obviously more wins than that, but counting, he did that on November the 20th. So that's pretty cool. DeAngelo recorded his first hat trick and actually tied the most points with 5 in a singular regular season game with Brian Leetch to lead the franchise in most points by a defenseman. And there was, of course, the Zibanejad game where he got 5 goals. They won 6-5, and it was the first time since 1983 any Ranger has scored 5 goals in a game. Zibanejad, a very underrated player that just improves every single year, just that little bit, and really making that Brassard deal look terrible. Every year that Brassard deal just looks worse and worse. The fact that they gave up more draft picks, too, to get Brassard, that's... So this franchise kind of got to, obviously, the trade deadline, and Shea was traded away. During that time, they had a massive uplift, especially in February. They were able to win a lot of games. A lot of it was Shushkin until he got injured. And that was a big part of it. Their offense also rolled. They were the 6th best scoring team in the league, but obviously let in a lot of goals. But during this period of February, that stopped. However, they started to come back down to earth. So they were a team that was very close to a playoff spot, but I don't think that was going to continue if the pause didn't happen. They were 2-5 in their last 7. The goals were starting to happen. Georgiev and Lundqvist were not getting it done. But I don't want to retire. We'll get to you. They both finished in below 9-10 save percentage seasons, Georgiev and Lundqvist, but Georgiev had the most wins with 17 on this year. Nemeshnikov was also traded away for a 4th-round pick to Ottawa. His offense really hadn't done very much. I think he was 48 points in the years with Tampa Bay at the end there, including the trade, and he could only get 31 the season before. They just weren't happy with his performance, so off he went for pretty well nothing just to get the cap off the books. And Ryan Lindgren came up and really, again, became a great defender for this team, and this is where there is some highlights for this going forward, which then led them to be able to trade Brady Shea away for the 1st overall pick, and obviously being able to clear out, 5 and some change mil in cap space, always healthy. Chris Kreider also signed a 7-year deal, that's pretty much the whole season rundown until the pause. Then COVID happened, and oh boy, was that just it was not fun. It's still not fun. They got to the play-in rounds, and a lot of people really overhyped them a fair bit. I think they were very impressed by what they were able to do in that February window, and really ignored the rest of the season, which was probably a little bit more telling. And the only way they were going to win this is if they could score goals, and against that Carolina defense, they were unable to score goals. They also started Lundqvist for the first 2 games. And not Shushushkin. Oh, God, I cannot say that name. It's going to be a nightmare. Igor. I'll just say Igor. And, so they got beaten pretty handedly. Game 3 was the first Rangers playoff game in 126 playoff games that Lundqvist did not start. Granted, it was a back-to-back, but, his performance, I think if you went with Igor to start off with, you needed to steal a game. The Rangers probably had the ability with their offense to win one of these games, and then maybe luck out to win a second one, or a very even game where that could have gone either way, and you needed your goalie to steal one, and Lundqvist just isn't that goalie anymore. It saddens me to say. It really sad. It is so sad for me to say that it's Georgiev or him. It really is, on which one they keep for next season. I think it will be Lundqvist. You got to kind of do him a solid, right? You got to, if he wants to play on again. But, that's a bit rough. He's been ingrained in that franchise for so long. Very difficult. So what is next year? What's on the horizon, I guess, with this team? Well, they have an amazing D-core, for one. That's extremely mobile. They can play in all 3 zones. Is young, it's very green, and that led to, a few high chance scoring chances. But this team is looking pretty decent. Now, they got a couple of contracts to sign. They've got Strome coming off RFA. They got Fast. He's a UFA. They'll probably want to keep him around because of what he did this season. And D'Angelo is an RFA as well. Georgiev as well. With that, after that, they've got 13 mil in cap space to get all of that done. So these guys might be a bit of a play in free agency. Bear in mind also, this team with their owners will probably still have money to spend, even though with everything going on. Shattenkirk is 6 mil next year. That's his cap hit. So, oh boy. But it's only that year. And then every other year past that is 1.4 million. So I wonder where they go from here. If they just try to get another defender, a solid defender here, free agency, like a Torrey Krug, someone who can move the puck and be a pretty good, decent fit in this blue line. Otherwise, do they go looking for another forward? I think goaltending, they're fine. I think you just need a steady presence on the back end, just to stop the bleeding with the goals. And I think Krug might be the way to go there. If you don't have to overpay him, which you may not, because some teams that would be bidding for his services are probably lowering that price with the whole COVID thing. So if you can get him on the cheap, that could be the Shattenkirk replacement, I guess. Could you imagine this team if Shattenkirk was at the height of Shattenkirk? It'd be pretty good. Like, I feel like they're not far away. Like, they've actually rebuilt very, very well. They've got a few good pieces here. I think like Anderson's a player that hasn't really come to fruition, which is a little bit sad for the team. But yeah, I think they're not far away. Just need to blood these players, be patient. I think they're 2 years away from being a good playoff team. They haven't overpaid with horrible contracts. I mean, yeah, you got Mark Stoll. That's not ideal. But yeah, like, he's not terrible, but and he comes off the books after next season, so you can look for someone like Krug if you can get him at roughly that Stoll money. I mean, it probably won't be at 5-7, but if you can get him for 7, and then you got Shattenkirk 6 falling off, it's not really going to hurt the team very much, and Krug over Stoll is going to be an absolute win. So I wonder if they are in on that. But yeah, I guess we'll see. The other thing is the goalies. Like, where do you go? Igor's guaranteed. Like, there's no way they're getting rid of him. He was so good. He was very good at the start of the Rangers game as well against the Hurricanes. But yeah, just the last game. But yeah, just kind of fell away. There was some really good scoring chances as well. It wasn't really his fault. Gorgiev has shown glimpses of being a good goaltender, but has also shown that, yeah, he can cost you a game, and Lundqvist just not there. He might be a backup at $8.5 million next year. It's very interesting to see what they do there. I'm not really going to speculate. I think that's one of the players that they're definitely not going to screw around with. So yeah, and we'll see what he makes a decision on whether he's going to play next year. I think he will. I think he will try play. It could just be an off year, and he just needs to, get everything right and come back, and he might be a solid, might even be able to play 30, 40 games next year. And if he can do a solid performance and take that step back, then yeah, I mean, it might be a win-win for everyone. But his contract also falls off in 2021, so yeah, and I don't think you have to pay Shoshushkin. I don't think you have to pay Igor $8.5 million with his first coming off RFA. So yeah, like, contract-wise, they're looking good. Cap-wise, they're looking good. Rebuild, they're looking good. Prospects, they're looking good. This is a franchise to watch. Like, if you're a fan of this team, sucks right now, I understand you. Like, I mean, this is the obituary, right? Like, it's a recap of, and you just hope they're able to get through that first round or even win a game. But, I think there's a lot of wins in this team to go forward. Anyway, guys, that is the whole video. If you did like this video, hit the like button. Otherwise, hit subscribe, because that really does help us out. Otherwise, comment down below. What did you think of the season? Is there anything that I missed? I tried to get everything. It's tough to remember with the whole COVID thing. I was kind of going through all the points and researching everything. I probably missed something, so put that in the comments down below. Didn't shout out a player. Kaku, I didn't really talk about him very much. He had a pretty good sophomore year, like first year. Like, he was fine. He wasn't super amazing, but like, he'll come good. He'll come really good, I think, down the road. Lemieux was a pain in the ass to play against, so I expect him to give him another deal, because yeah, he just sort of helps out that little bottom bit. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. See you, and bye.